The night was heavy with the scent of burning wood. Smoke coiled through the air, twisting and writhing like a serpent as flames devoured a small hut on the outskirts of the village. The people gathered, their faces illuminated by the eerie glow. No one spoke, only the crackling fire filled the silence. Then, amidst the chaos, a shadow moved. A figure, barely visible against the dancing embers, walked away with an unsettling calm. Some swore they saw a woman, her silhouette framed in fire, but when the flames finally died, there was no trace of her. At dawn, the village elders convened in hushed whispers. There was something unnatural about the fire, something that stirred an old fear buried deep within their stories. "She has returned," one elder muttered, his voice trembling. But the others dismissed his words, brushing them off as the ramblings of an aging mind. They needed proof before accusing shadows of wrongdoing. That same morning, a stranger arrived. Her name was Naya. She was breathtaking, her skin glowed like polished bronze, and her eyes flickered like embers in the morning light. She spoke little but carried an air of quiet confidence. The villagers, still shaken by the fire, watched her with both admiration and suspicion. There was something about her presence that felt too perfect, too unreal. A young boy, curious and bold, tugged at his mother's shawl and whispered, "I saw her last night, by the fire." His mother hushed him immediately, casting nervous glances over her shoulder. Some things were better left unsaid. Days passed, and the village tried to return to normal. But then, another fire erupted. This time, it was the blacksmith's shop. The villagers rushed to extinguish the flames, but again, whispers spread, Naya had been seen nearby. Some claimed she had been standing just outside, watching the fire as if in a trance. The suspicion turned to murmurs, the murmurs to rumors, and soon, fear began to take root. Jomo, the village hunter, had been watching Naya closely. He had seen the way her gaze lingered on the fire, the way she seemed drawn to its warmth. One evening, he followed her, careful not to be seen. She moved with purpose, slipping through the trees until she reached an old, abandoned cave, a place cast in village legend. Jomo hesitated, feeling an unnatural heat radiating from the entrance. But when he finally gathered the courage to step inside, Naya was gone. The villagers had had enough. They demanded answers. The elders decided to confront Naya, but when they brought her before the chief, she only smiled softly and said, "I am not the fire, but the fire knows me." Her words sent chills through those who listened. To prove her innocence, the elders devised a test. "If you are truly one of us, the fire will treat you like any other," they declared. The plan was simple: she would walk through flames. If she burned, she was innocent. If she did not, she was something else entirely. That night, the village gathered in grim silence. A bonfire roared at the center of the clearing, its flames licking the air hungrily. Naya stepped forward, her expression unreadable. She took a slow breath and walked into the fire. Gasps ran out. The flames rose, swallowing her whole. The villagers shielded their eyes, waiting for the inevitable screams, the sound of burning flesh. But there was only silence. Then, the fire dimmed, dying as if it had been commanded. And when the smoke cleared, Naya was gone. Not a single trace of her remained. That night, as the village slept in uneasy quiet, a woman in a tattered ashen dress was seen standing at the edge of the forest. Her eyes burned like dying coals. The next morning, the elders spoke of an old tale, of a woman accused of witchcraft long ago, who had been burned at the stake. A woman who, it seemed, had returned to reclaim what was hers. Then the earth began to change. The village well ran dry, the soil turned warm beneath their feet, and strange embers flickered in the air without a source. The people panicked. They cried out for mercy, begging for the curse to be lifted. Jomo, tormented by guilt, ran to the cave where he had last seen her. "Naya," he called. "If there is anything human left in you, spare them." From the darkness, her voice echoed softly, "They did not spare me." For a moment, there was silence. Then, the heat faded, the embers cooled, and the air stilled. The village was spared. But as Jomo turned to leave, he caught something in the dying light, his own reflection in the water of the cave, and behind him, Naya's glowing eyes watching, waiting. Jomo swallowed hard and stepped closer. "Naya," he whispered, "I don't care what you are. I see you. I see the fire in your eyes, but I also see the pain. I have loved you since the moment I laid eyes on you. If you can still feel, then stay. Stay with me." For the first time, the fire in Naya's eyes dimmed, just slightly. Her lips parted, but instead of words, only a soft exhale escaped. She looked at Jomo, her expression unreadable, before finally saying, "Love is not enough to change fate, Jomo." He stepped forward, reaching for her, but his fingers met only air. She faded into the darkness, leaving only the warmth of her presence lingering in the cave. As the fire in the cave flickered and died, Jomo clenched his fist, feeling an unfamiliar sensation against his palm. When he looked down, he gasped. A faint burn mark had formed, shaped like a delicate handprint, Naya's handprint. His breath hitched, realization sinking in that she had touched him before vanishing. A part of her, it seemed, would remain with him forever. Days passed, and the village rebuilt, but the legend remained. Some say she left. Others say she watches still, hidden in the flickering flames of every hearth. And on certain nights, when the wind is just right, you can hear the fire whisper her name. Naya. Late one night, Jomo sat alone by a dying fire. The embers pulsed weakly, casting a dim, reddish glow. A soft breath of wind stirred the ashes, and for a fleeting moment, the flames flickered to life. In the shifting glow, Jomo's eyes widened. There, just beyond the fire's edge, in the darkness, he saw them. Naya's eyes, burning like smoldering coals, watching him. A slow, knowing smile touched Jomo's lips. He did not look away. Then, as if compelled by an unseen force, Jomo rose and stepped toward the darkness. "If you cannot stay," he whispered, "then let me walk with you." A sudden gust of wind scattered the embers, and Naya's form took shape, shadowy, ethereal, yet undeniably real. She reached out a hand, her fingers just barely grazing his. For a moment, warmth surged through Jomo's body, an unspoken promise passing between them. The villagers say Jomo was never seen again after that night. Some believe he was claimed by the fire, his soul bound to Naya's eternal watch. Others whisper that, even now, two figures walk the forest at dusk, a woman wreathed in embers and a man whose heart burned just as fiercely.